Right now, Trump and his allies want you afraid. They want you helpless, to give up. Donald Trump is president again. No one is denying that. But America is bigger than this man. To pretend he's not a danger to this country puts our rights, our lives, and our futures at risk. He's a sucker for oligarchs and special interests, patsy for our enemies, an embarrassment. Bigger than this moment, bigger than the future he intends to build, and the past he wants to bring back. We're the American people, and the future is still ours to build. So let's get to work.
Did you know that during Trump's inauguration, more people watched paint dry than his speech? Okay, I made that up, but after you see what really happened, you'll wish you had been watching paint instead. From wardrobe malfunctions to verbal gymnastics, Trump's big day was a hot mess. But don't worry, this video isn't all about the Donald. We've got some real American heroes to show you too. Ready to feel proud again?
Inauguration Day, the day where the eyes of America and the world turn to Washington to watch the peaceful transfer of power of party or politics. But not this time. This time, the man swearing the oath of office today has proven already who he is. A liar, a felon, a thug. For nearly 250 years, it was a moment in which Americans could take pride,
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. At this moment, everyone, it is time for the most important event, the arrival of our favorite orange turd, which is not impressive. Just picture this. Donnie Diapers marches onto the stage in a manner that is reminiscent of entering one of his luxurious restrooms. On the other hand, things are going to get hairy, or perhaps I should say unhairy, so make sure to keep your MAGA hats on. Just as Grumpy Trumpy is about to reach for his speech, a gust of wind decides that it has had enough of the nonsense that he has been saying. The Wiz, the well-known golden mop, is able to take off more quickly than a hammerer thanks to his system.
Full of his struggles and ramblings and rantings and mumbling and bumbling and stumbling. You decide. Take a look.
I find it awkward. I find it embarrassing. He's really in the early stages of some kind of senile dementia.
They've deliberately surrendered our border to vicious coyotes and drug smugglers. I mean, these drug smugglers, the smuggler, a smuggler!
The world is suddenly given a glimpse of what has been concealed beneath that cotton candy disaster, a dome that is more shiny than the floors at Mar-a-Lago. This revelation comes as a result of the visit that the FBI made. Before you can even say the word Kofef, cameras start buzzing, crowds start gasping, and Twitter is flooded with memes. The experience of watching Trump's dignity, or what is left of it, slam into a dumpster fire of embarrassment is comparable to watching a car crash, except that the vehicle involved is rather than a car. In the meantime, a group of average Americans are hard at work planting trees in a park close by while this follicular catastrophe is taking place. Instead of just boasting about how green America is, you should actually work to make it greener. It is not in the sense of hush money to porn stars that they are putting in a lot of effort, and not in the sense that they are getting their hands dirty. At the inauguration, Trump's attempts to make things better only serve to make the situation even more dire.
He can't finish a sentence.
Really an ominous.
The man doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know where the exit is. He's not sure how to get through a speech.
Mr. President,
being corrupt and senile is even worse.
Old, outdated, retired, elderly, aging, senile, dementia, slow, confused, idiot, ignorant, sleepy, gaff, bumbling, bad, terrible, disappointing, joke, profanity.
Being corrupt is bad.
In a manner that is characteristic of Trump, he knocks over the microphone rather than grabbing his way out of the situation. Watching a toddler attempt to use a sledgehammer to catch a butterfly is like watching a toddler engage in an activity that is awkward, noisy, and ultimately impossible. In the meantime, these common people continue to plant trees, unconcerned and productive, while Trump flounders around like a fish out of water, or a president who is out of his depth. It is not possible for them to be concerned about a guy having a bad hair day because they are too focused on making their community better. They appear to have come to the realization that genuine change does not originate from a person who throws tantrums while wearing a toupee, but rather from people who genuinely care about their country. There is, however, more to come. At the very moment when you believe that things are not going to get any more ridiculous, Trump's pants start to look a little loose. One possible explanation is that he has at long last caught up to all of those Big Macs. Another possibility is that his ego has been so severely deflated that his clothes no longer fit him. First and foremost, everyone, get ready for the most thrilling linguistic ride of the century. It is about to become the playground of our favorite orange orator, and that playground is the English language. How many different ways is it possible for one man to manipulate USA? I'll count them for you. As he finally starts his speech, it is clear that Trump's tongue is in a knot that is even more tightly knotted than his excessively long tie. When he opens his mouth, the first thing that comes out of it is America. The audience stared in shock. What was he saying when he said America? They are of the opinion that it could be an exception to the rule. Nevertheless, Donnie Diapers is merely warming up at this moment. During the moment that his face becomes flushed to the point of jealousy, he yells, "We will make Marika great again." You can see that the crowd is making an effort to maintain their composure, but you can also see that laughter is starting to emerge. Observing this is comparable to watching a car crash in slow motion, with the exception that the English language is being destroyed instead of the individual vehicles. While this is going on, regular people in the United States are going about their daily lives, casually bringing up the topic of America in conversation as if it were none of their business. Today, class, we are learning about the history of the United States of America, said a teacher from Ohio. This time of year, the heartland of the United States of America is absolutely stunning, said a farmer from Iowa. Even a toddler in Texas is capable of babbling something that sounds more like America than what Trump is saying. During the inauguration, Trump ultimately chose not to use the teleprompter as a means of communication, a significant blunder, enormous in size. He then jumps into an endless rant about how he came up with the idea for the hamburger himself. To put it simply, prior to my arrival, nobody had ever heard of hamburgers. They were made by me, the best burgers in the world. Everyone is in agreement. At the same time that Trump's speech is veering off course faster than a bullet train on a roller coaster track, a montage of Americans who have truly invented things is shown. An innovative type of solar panel is being developed by a group of college students from the state of California. A mechanic in the state of Michigan is currently tampering with the engine of an electric vehicle. A child is even developing a new recipe for lemonade in her backyard, which will prove to be so successful that it will force Country Time to cease operations. Despite the fact that he has become a walking, talking meme, Trump continues to carry on with his life. He introduces himself by saying, "And let me tell you about Covfeffaland," while making a variety of gestures. It is a breathtaking point of view. This is the most exquisite. The wall that we intend to construct around the dictionary will be paid for by the dictionary itself. As of right now, the audience is unable to contain their excitement. When the giggles stop, laughter begins to break out. Even members of the Secret Service are having trouble keeping their cool in this unpredictable situation. With the exception of the fact that this individual is supposed to be in charge of the nation, it is comparable to watching a stand-up comedian completely misfire. As the inauguration of Donald Trump devolves into a comedy circus, we are reminded that the true strength of the United States of America is not in the clown performing on stage, but rather in the ordinary heroes who are changing the world with their actions. While regular people are out there engaging in activities such as planting trees, making incredible things, and generally being awesome, Donnie Diapers is having trouble with both his words and his pants choices. People, the most unfortunate aspect is that despite all of the political maneuvering, the institutions of the United States of America are more resilient than a steak that costs $2. As demonstrated by the thriving spirit of civic engagement, involvement in the community is more powerful than any outburst of orange turd. There is no doubt that Trump and his allies want us to feel helpless and afraid, but guess what? We are not convinced by it, and as a result, genuine Americans are working hard and completing their assignments, while Grumpy Trumpy is attempting to bring America back to its former glory. Keep in mind that the person who is wearing the golden mop on his head is not the person who is truly responsible for the greatness of this country. Rather, it is you, me, and that kid selling lemonade down the street. And this is exactly what I mean when I say that we are making America great again.